Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we have the final 5 cards revealed for Supreme Darkness. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, become part of notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out and see what these cards actually do. So it does look like we have a new Synchro monster, and this card actually looks very similar to Dark Storm Dragon, which is awesome because I absolutely love that card. So let's go ahead and see what the final 5 cards are for Supreme Darkness. So first off, we do have a card that does seem to be like the Red Lotus Knight, and this card is called the Great Knight of the Red Lotus, so it is actually a retrain of that card. So this card is a level 8 Fire Warrior monster, special summon effect monster. That's really interesting. This card is actually a Fire Warrior card. Is this card going to work with Infernoble maybe? This card is a 2100 attack point monster with 1800 defense points with the effect that it cannot be normal summoned or set. It must first be special summoned from your hand or graveyard by shuffling up to 3 non-effect monsters from your graveyard into the deck or the extra deck, meaning it's actually going to help you recycle your resources to bring out this card to your side of the field, but it also has some other effects. For its first effect, it has the effect that it gains 800 attack for each normal monster shuffled into the deck for its special summon. That's a really awesome ability to instantly bring this card out with a boost of 2400 attack points, boosting this card to 4,500 attack points if you shuffle all 3 non-effect monsters back into the deck or the extra deck off this card, which is absolutely insane because this card can come out massive to your side of the field. For its second effect, once per turn, you can target 1 monster on the field and a non-effect monster in your graveyard, destroy the first target, and if you do, special summon the second target. That's actually a really powerful ability to be able to use this card as well, and I actually see this card being able to work with the Primite cards really well, but also, since this card is a Fire Warrior monster, you might even be able to use this in the Flame Swordsman deck, which is pretty interesting about this card, because you can actually put back your Flame Swordsmans back into the extract, since it does let you put them back into the deck or the extract, so you can recycle them and bring out a Fire Warrior monster to your side of the field. So this card is actually really interesting overall, and you might even be able to take this card in with the Metal Morph cards as well, since it is a level 8 or higher warrior monster. You can actually use this with Metal Morph because it's level 5 or higher to be able to summon out Metal Flame Swordsman, which is also coming out in Supreme Darkness. So in my book, this is actually a Flame Swordsman support card, which is really cool, or even Primite. So the next card, we do have a retrain to Goddess of the Whim, and this card is called Goddess of Duality. There's the old Goddess of the Whim, and this is Goddess of Duality. So let's go ahead and see what this card does. So before, this card was actually a coin toss card, which is actually really interesting, and it does look like it does have these same stats with 950 and 700 for its attack and defense. So this card is a level 3 light fairy monster, just like before, with 950 attack and 700 defense points, and you only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. For its first effect, if this card is normal or special summon, you can add a monster from your deck to your hand that has a coin tossing effect, except another copy of this card. That is an awesome effect. That actually works with Arcana Force, and that is Arcana Force support, but you can also use that with Barrel Dragon or even a bunch of other decks that have coin toss effects. I really like that overall. That's an awesome ability that now we actually have a Stratos for the coin toss cards, which is so cool. That's a really cool card, and it's going to be a staple in a lot of decks. That's an awesome effect, and I'm really glad they actually gave us that. So for the second effect, during your main phase, you can toss a coin and call it, and if you call it right, the attack of all face-up monsters that you currently control become doubled until the end of this turn, but if you call it wrong, send as many monsters you control as possible to the graveyard, and if you do, draw a card. That is definitely an Arcana Force card. Because it is a light fairy, it does work with the Arcana Force cards, and it's really cool overall because you're just going to normal summon this card out to your side of the field, and it actually gives Arcana Force a lot of consistency boost, so you can normal summon this card out to your side of the field and then use it to search out the exact card that you need, like a copy of the Sun or one of your other monsters that you want, which is absolutely insane. This is a really good card overall. And that second effect is just an OTK piece, and it's amazing that you can actually use that ability to double the attack points of your monsters until the end phase and just go in for game if you do get the coin toss right, which is awesome. That's a really cool ability, and I really like that card effect overall. This is amazing. I really like this card. So for the next one, we do have Light Storm Dragon. So it does look like this card is actually based on Dark Storm Dragon, which is cool. And I like that they've actually retrained it. I think that's actually Sage with Eyes of Blue standing on, or the Storm Rider actually standing right there. It's not Sage, it's actually Storm Rider standing right there on the wing, which is actually really neat, which was released in Saga of the Blue Eyes White Dragon originally, which is really cool to actually see retrains of this card. So this is probably going to be a Blue Eyes support card, which is really neat. So this card is a level 9 Light Dragon Synchro Effect monster with 2700 attack and 3000 defense points. That is a lot of defense points, and it is level 9, so it's going to be pretty easy to synchro into this in Blue Eyes, which is really nice. And it's actually generic. It doesn't require any specific materials. You can just use a tuner plus a non-tuner to make this card, which is actually really cool. So this card has 2 effects, and you can only use each of this card's effects once per turn. For its first effect, if this card is Special Summon, you can target spells and traps on the field up to the number of null monsters in your graveyard +1 and destroy them. That is definitely a Blue Eyes White Dragon support card to deal with back row. And it's a really cool effect overall because you can just instantly bring this card out to your side of the field and deal with your opponent's back row, which previously Blue Eyes had a little bit of trouble dealing with back row, and now it just doesn't because of this card, which is really cool. For the second effect, if this card is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can target a spell trap in your graveyard and set it, but it cannot be activated unless you control a normal monster, which is again not that big of a deal because you can just instantly put a Blue Eyes White Dragon on your side of the field, because with the new Blue Eyes structure deck, it's very easy to be able to put Blue Eyes monsters on your side of the field. So this card is actually a Blue Eyes support card because the OCG is getting the Blue Eyes structure deck, or they've already gotten the Blue Eyes structure deck, which is actually really cool to see some Blue Eyes support in the form of a non-Blue Eyes monster and a retrain of Dark Storm Dragon, which they've just turned into a light monster, which is really cool. For the next card, we do have Yugioh. This card is actually really cool. I really like the artwork. It almost looks like Nebtibus, which is really neat. Like he's like turning into the monster, which is really cool. Like he's gaining the power of the water, which is really cool. But this card is a normal spell card, and you can only use one of this card's first and second effects of this card's name once per turn and only once a turn. So you have to pick between the 2 effects. Let's see what this card actually does. And it actually is Greek for water, which is really cool, or the source of all things water, which is actually really cool. I really like that name. It's really cool. So this card has the first effect that you can target a monster in either graveyard, destroy a water monster its owner controls, and if you do, special summon the target to the player's field in defense position. That's actually a really cool ability to instantly get a water monster back out of the graveyard to your side of the field. It's almost like a Monster Reborn to be able to destroy a monster, but you can use this card reactively if you're playing in like a mirror match to be able to pop a monster on the field that you don't want to deal with and be able to put a different monster on the field. But this is actually a really cool combo piece for a Mermail Atlantean, which is also getting support in this pack. For the second effect, if this card is in your graveyard except the turn it was sent there, you can manage this card and then target a water monster in either graveyard, destroy a monster its owner's control, and if you do, special summon the target to the player's field and defense position. Basically a copy and paste effect, so you get 2 uses out of this card, which is actually pretty neat overall. I really like that effect that you basically get 2 uses out of this card to be able to bring back water monsters to the field, but I feel like this might be a side deck card to be able to deal with your opponent's water monsters, or just use this card as a Monster Reborn in Mermail or Atlantean, which is actually really neat to be able to play this in Merlanian to be able to bring monsters back to the field. And it's a really cool card overall. I love the artwork of it. It really reminds me of like Nebtibus, and I really like that. So for the last card, oh, that looks so cool. It's the face cards. It's Arcana Knights. Yes. Okay, maybe this is actually going to support Arcana Knights. I really hope it does because I love Arcana Knights. Okay, so this card is called Double Wild. I love the artwork of it. You have Queen's Knight, or that's Arcana Knight Triumph Joker actually, and that's Joker's Knight on the bottom. That's actually really cool. So you can only use one. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. So it's a quick effect spell card that has the effect that only has one effect. That you can target a level 5 or lower monster that you control. You cannot special summon for the rest of the turn after this card resolves, except monsters with the same original type as that target. That's a pretty interesting effect to basically lock you into a certain type of monster. Also, add 1 level 10 monster with that original type from your deck to your hand. Then you can discard a card, and if you do, special summon 1 monster with that type from your hand in defense. This card is definitely Arcana Knight support, which is awesome. Because what you're basically supposed to do with this card is use this card with your Joker's Knight to grab Arcana Triumph Joker, which is awesome to grab that card directly from your deck to your hand. So you can just summon it out to your side of the field because it does require 3 tributes, but it is a search card for it, which is amazing to basically focus it around summoning out Arcana Knight Triumph Joker instead of summoning out Slifer the Sky Dragon or the Winged Dragon of Ra. But this is actually amazing because if you have any deck that you can play, like even Earth Machine, you could technically use this with Earth Machine because you can target a level 5 or lower monster you control and then add a level 10 monster with the same original type because you play Trains in Earth Machine. So you could use this in Trains as well, or just in Earth Machine to be able to search out the exact card that you need. So this card is going to see a lot of play, and all 3 of these cards are actually, all 5 of these cards, excuse me, are actually extremely strong, which is really cool. But this card is probably going to be a 3 of in a bunch of decks because this card is actually a secret Rhoda for a lot of decks, which is insane. It reminds me a lot of Small World, which is really, really cool. This is actually the last card for the new reveals, which is awesome. I feel like this card's okay. This one's definitely going to see play in like Earth Machine. It's going to see play in Arcana Knight. There's a lot of different decks you can actually play this card in, which is really, really nice. We also have the Lightstorm Dragon. This is definitely going to see play in Blue Eyes just to deal with back row. Probably is a 1-of. And then we also have the Goddess of Duality. This card is a definite 3-of in Arcana Force, and it's amazing for Arcana Force just to normal summon this card out to your side of the field, search out the exact card that you need, and then go in for your plays. This card is an amazing card and actually brings a lot of consistency to Arcana Force, which is really, really cool. And then we also have the Great Knight of the Red Lotus. This is actually like Primite / Flame Swordsman-ish support, which is really neat, but I love the artwork. He has really long hair. Like, that's really cool. I like that. And I love his sword. That looks really cool. It reminds me of like the Lament from Destiny, if you guys have ever played Destiny 2. But it looks amazing. I love that. It's a really, really cool card. But these cards look phenomenal. I really like them all. They're really good, and they all seem extremely strong, and they're going to be amazing, and they're going to be seeing a lot of play moving forward. So that's going to be this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely tell me which one of these which one of these cards is your favorite down in the comments down below. I really like Double Wild. I feel like this card is going to see a lot of play in a lot of different decks, and this card might have a lot of hidden potential that we don't even see on the surface yet, which is amazing. So that's going to be this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.